Hello my dear students, welcome back once again to the another virtual class of political science. So today we'll discuss the remaining functions of the executive. So in the previous class we discussed some of the functions of the executives and a few more functions were left out. So today we'll discuss about those functions. Okay, so hope you all have watched the previous video also. If you have not watched it, please do watch it. Okay, so it is there in the playlist of on my channel. Okay, so let's start our today's class. Okay, now our next topic is the foreign policy making. Foreign policy. So first of all, I'd like to make you understand what is meant by foreign policy. So every nation has their own policy to deal with our neighbors or with other nations of the world. Like we live in a society, we live in a neighborhood, and we keep different relationship with different neighbors. With some neighbors we are very good, and with some neighbors we don't even talk also, we don't like their behavior also. Whenever we are in need, some of our good neighbors, they come and help us and we go and help them. The same way, relationship, what type of relationship should we maintain with foreign nations, that is also one of the most important priority of each and every governments of the world. Okay, and that is known as foreign relations, and foreign relations is to be maintained in a proper way, and in a proper term we can use it as foreign policy. So two types. First one is domestic policy, that is that policy is for our own within our nation, like you say policy making, implementation of policy. So that is all for the day-to-day working of the government, day-to-day functioning of the administration are to be looked after by the executives. Police is there, they maintain law and order, traffic rules, these, that, lot of things are there within the country, lot of problems are there, so that are to be managed by them properly. Now making foreign policy, that is also very important. Like if I give you the example of our country, my dear, the day from the day one of our prime minister who assumed assumed the office, his main intention was in developing foreign relations. That is why even today he goes on for tour, he goes to different countries of the world, talks with them, tries to maintain good relation with them, and invites them to come and invest in our country, so that a foreign investment will bring lot of employment for our country relation. So like we see, you can see here Bhutan, a very small country, right? We have a very good relation in Bhutan, right? We help them, they also help us, we maintain a very friendly relation, right? But if you talk about our neighbors like China, recently they are not in good terms with us, but we always have been trying to manage every disputes in a friendly way, in a peaceful way. We are always trying. Our neighbor, we have said that we will declare war. We always have patience. We will defend our country, but we cannot be aggressive on those nations. So from the beginning we are like that. And the other countries, Pakistan, we don't have good relations with Pakistan, but still Prime Minister Narendra Modi tried to maintain good relation. But these people, the people of the government of the Pakistan is not going to listen to it. I don't know what they have, what problem they have, so forget about that. But we have very good friends like America is there, Russia is there, right? France is there. Whenever we are in trouble, whenever we need, definitely they'll stand by our side, right? So definitely, my dear, when you maintain good relations, when you make a good foreign relations with those countries, they will definitely help you whenever you are in need. So foreign policy is to be made by the executive. Like the head of the family is the one who decides what should be the role of the family, right? What to do, what not to do, what is good for our nation, that will be decided by the executive. So when we talk about foreign policy, my dear, in the age of ever increasing global interdependence, we are depending upon each other, right? It has become one of the most important function of the government to formulate foreign policy. Okay, so this function is also performed by the executive. The foreign policy making is also performed by the executives. Okay, so on the basis of geographic, human, economic, industrial and technological factors, as well as the basis of the nature, and then implement Okay, nature of the domestic and international situation, the executive first of all does one thing, that is formulate the policy of the nation and then implements it for securing the desired goals of the nation. Ultimately, we expect something. What is the goal of making a foreign relations or foreign policy? There should be certain outcomes. So if we maintain a very good relation with any of our neighboring countries or any of the countries of the world, we expect something and they also expect something from us. Like America is there, Russia is there. What we expect defense equipments from them, and they also expect many of our items in their countries. So give and take relation is there, that has to be maintained properly, isn't it? So foreign policy is also one of the major important function of the executive. Okay, so it is performed in a parliamentary system. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are the one who perform these functions. And in the presidential form of government, like in America, or that is in USA, President of America is the one who decides or formulates the foreign policy of the country. Hope you all understood, your understanding also. Okay, so this is all about foreign policy that we have done now. Okay, now next one we have is this one, lawmaking. Next one we have is lawmaking. So now this we have done it. Now lawmaking. So you know that lawmaking is also one of the most important function of the executive. So normally when we discuss the legislature, there we discuss laws are passed in the legislature. But who all are there in the legislature? These executives are there, right? The process of lawmaking which takes place in the parliament. Okay, so in that process the member of legislature are involved, the member of the government are also involved, those who are just the member of the parliament, they are also involved. First reading, second reading, third reading, the entire policy reading and all of the draft are being done, debate goes on, discussion goes on, all these are performed in the legislature. But mostly lawmaking, what type of law is required, the drafting and all, what all points should be required, so that will not be discussed with the member of the parliament. These are done by the executives. These are done by the Prime Minister, or he will give that duty to a particular minister. Okay, you draft everything, a new requirement I require, I'll just speak out my idea, and that he will frame it properly in a draft. And after the draft is been ready, he will come and discuss in the parliament. Debate will go on, opposition will say no, this is not right, this is wrong, this has to be amended. Then the process of passing in the Lok Sabha will go on, and then again the bill will go to Rajya Sabha. So these are the processes which goes on. But the most important thing what I am trying to say is that the decision of law making is in the hand of the executive. So in a parliamentary system, so it is in the hand of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, and in the presidential system that is done by the President. So though in a presidential system the President is not the member of the House of Representatives, so how does he do? Okay, so he conveys the message to the parliament that this type of law is required, and his friends or whoever are the members of his party in the House of Representatives or the Senate, they will frame the policy. Though lawmaking will take place in the parliament. Okay, but the real executive, who is the real executive of America? President is the real executive. The president is not the member of the parliament. So how does the law takes place? Making of law will continue. So he will convey the message to the parliament. Okay, that will be done. It will be done properly. And finally, after being passed from both the houses, the draft bill will come to the president. So president definitely wanted that only, right? So if he finds everything is okay, he will pass it and he will sign the bill, and that will become a act. Okay, so laws are made in the parliament. So in the first phase, those are in the form of draft, and once those drafts are being passed by the draft or bill, so once it is passed by the houses, it goes to the president. After signed by the president, it will become a act. Okay, so that is the law making process of the executive. So hope you are understanding. So I'm trying to make it clear. That is why the video is becoming little bit lengthy. So have patience and please watch it. Watch it till the end. Don't skip any of the parts. Okay, so just one time you have to watch it. So once you have watched it, you don't have to repeat it again, and I'm sure that you'll understand what I am trying to explain you. Okay, then the next one we have is judicial functions. So judicial function, what are the judicial functions of the executives? Okay, in a parliamentary as well as, why I'm saying parliamentary and presidential, because executives are same but are performed by different executives throughout the world. In a parliamentary system, prime minister and the council of ministers are the one real executives, and in a presidential system, the president is there, who is the real executive head of the country. So this is how those executives perform. So next one we have is judicial function. So judicial function, like the appointment of judges. First of all, let me give you, in a parliamentary system, those judges are appointed by the president, but in actual term, the decision is made by the real executive, that is the prime minister and the council of ministers. So let me tell you, the appointment of judges by the executive is regarded as the sound method which can ensure independence of judiciary. To give the power in the hands of judiciary and to run independently, the power is given to the judiciary, and for that appointment is made by the executives. Okay, so in almost all the democratic countries of the world, the chief executive has the power to appoint the judges. In almost all the democratic countries of the world, the chief executive has the power to appoint the judges. Further, the head of the state has the right to grant pardon. Like, what is the meaning of grant pardon? Like the Supreme Court has announced a death sentence to the accused, right? Final decision is Supreme Court has declared pronounced death sentence. Now still there is a chance that you can request to the president, you can request to the executive, the head of the country, okay, regarding pardon. If it is death sentence, you may sometime, if the president is convinced that no, okay, let me reduce his punishment, then he can reduce it to lifetime imprisonment. If you are given lifetime imprisonment, then that can be reduced, few of the years from lifetime imprisonment can be reduced, 5-6 years reduction can be done. So that is done by the executives of the country. So grant pardon, so we were discussing about grant pardon and all. Okay, so you know that that power is in the hands of the executives of the country. So grant pardon, okay, like a reprieve and then amnesty to the criminals, right? So all these things we can again discuss in the executive part, like when we discuss about judiciary and all, that time also we'll discuss clearly on these things. Okay, so judicial functions also we have done, right? So now one more thing we have to do is that it's not mentioned, but still I would like to discuss about that, like grant of titles and honors. Grant of titles and honors, like such persons who do commendable work, okay, in their respective spheres of activity, they are granted, okay, titles by the executives. And it also gains titles to such defense personnel also, like we have different titles, Parambir Chakra is there, Padma Bhushan is there, Padma Vibhushan is there, right? So different titles are there, which is given to the people who have achieved success in their different fields, right? So in order to show that, in order to give them more confidence, and that can set an example for the other citizens of the country to do some commendable work. Okay, so those are awarded by the executives of the country. Executive also grants titles to such defense personnel who show exemplary courage and devotion to duty during war and peace, right? They are awarded. Suppose if any other soldier is martyred in the field, battlefield or doing the duty, he is martyred and all. So that time also the family members are awarded with the degrees and all, awarded with the titles and honors and all, that is done, right? So those are done by the executives of the country. Okay, so mostly this is done or awarded in almost all the countries of the world, not only India, in almost all the countries of the world. The names may vary, the titles of those awards may vary, okay, honors may vary, but the purpose of those title is same, okay, to encourage the citizens to come forward and to serve the nation and do some commendable work for the country. Okay, then after that one more is there which I left it out, which is of lesser importance, like financial functions. What role is played by the executive in the matter of finances? Okay, financial functions, like it is the legislature which is the custodian of the finances of the state. It alone has the power to impose or to reduce or to eliminate the taxes. Entire thing can be done by the legislature. Okay, but in actual practice, the decisions, we say no legislature. When we say legislature, when you look at the legislature, it is not the legislature, it is done by the executives. It is done, decision is made by the government, and in the government executives are there, prime minister is there, council of ministers are there, right? In America, president is there. Okay, so it has the responsibility, the executive has the responsibility to prepare the budget. Budget is the what is the meaning of budget? Budget means the income and expenditure of the government. Okay, what is the income and how much taxes to be imposed, how much to be done. So all these are decided by the prime ministers and the executives, mostly by the finance minister, but it has to be approved by the prime minister. Okay, so it proposes the levy of new taxes. What type of new taxes has to be imposed? Okay, the structure of the tax. Okay, it collects and spends money as sanctioned by the parliament. Money has to be sanctioned. The parliament is the custodian of the national fund, national finance, right? So they get money from that after getting permission from the members of the house. Okay, the executive then decides the ways and means through which the money is to be collected and spent, how much to be collected, how to spend, from which area, from which part, from which sector we are collecting the money, and in which sector we are spending the money. Okay, so for that only taxes are imposed, so that the salaries of the employers and all, okay, we get our, mostly our income comes from railways, right? So that is how, my dear, it is done. Okay, then it takes suitable measures. After deciding everything, the executive takes a suitable measures for regulating the production and distribution of goods, money supply, prices and export and import. Okay, so this is all about the financial functions, which mostly is decided by the executive. But one thing we must remember, that we must very much remember that it is the legislature who is the custodian of the finances of the state. It is the legislature as a whole, all the members as a whole, they are the one who takes care of the finances of the country. That is why it has to be discussed in the parliament, right? The budget is presented in the parliament, otherwise government has to decide everything. Then why to discuss regarding the budget in the parliament, right? But that has to be decided by the executives in the parliament, because I am the member of parliament, I also need to know what is happening in this country. That is why it is done so. Okay, hope you all have understood it. So the class has become little lengthy for you all, so anyhow you must be ready to sacrifice certain minutes for your benefit only. So hope you all have understood. So this much for today. We'll meet again in next class. Till then, stay safe, take care, bye bye.